So before anybody is nice to me and wishes me happy birthday, I put off this video for a long time. So thanks. What's up guys, it's Millie Books here with my birthday book haul. My birthday was February 20th and I turned 18! Woo! And I got books, of course. I mean, what else would you want for your birthday? So I'm gonna get right into the haul. The first book I have is actually from a January purchase at McKay Books in Nashville, but I was currently reading at the time so I forgot to haul it, and it is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This is a novel about a girl named Cadence, and her and two of her cousins and a family friend form this little group clique thing called the Liars that kind of hang out and cause trouble every summer. I really enjoyed this book and I will talk about it a little bit more in my wrap-up. The next novel I have is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. This is a young adult fantasy novel about a society that is split apart by two types of blood, the red bloods and the silver bloods. The silver bloods have powers and the red bloods are people like us. And our main character's name is Mare, and she finds out that although she is a red blood, that she has powers as well, which is like unheard of. I really enjoyed this, and I will talk about it again in my wrap-up, and I also have a book chat, which I will link down below because I rave about all the feels. The next novel I have is The Last Time We Say Goodbye by Cynthia Hand. This is a contemporary novel about a girl whose brother commits suicide while she's in high school, and she is keeping this secret that apparently there's a text message that could have changed something, so she's kind of dealing with that, and I cannot wait to read this. I got to meet Cynthia Hand, and she was absolutely amazing, so I cannot wait to dive into her book. Speaking of Cynthia Hand, the next novel I have is Unearthly by Cynthia Hand. I've heard a lot of good things about this trilogy. This is, I believe, an angel book about a girl named Clara who finds out that she is part angel and she has this destiny task thing, I think they described it. She has a specific task that she has to do, but she doesn't quite know what it is yet. And along the way she's also having these visions, so I think it's kind of her discovering what of those visions is real and what relates to the task that she has to do. And I've heard a lot of great things about this series, so I cannot wait to start it. The next novel I have is My Heart and Other Black Holes by Jasmine Warga. This is another contemporary debut novel about a girl who her whole life she's been planning her death. And finally she goes on a website where you meet suicide partners, and she meets this boy named Roman, and they plan to commit suicide together. I don't know how to pronounce our main character's name. Aisel, I think. It comes down to the point where Aisel has to decide does she want to live so she can save her suicide partner, or does she want to continue on with her plans. This sounds very intense, and I will definitely have to be in the mood for it, but I've heard that it's also quite lighthearted and funny. It's a very ironic twist to such a sadistic story, from what I've heard at least, so I cannot wait to read this. The next novels I have go together. It is Steelheart and Fire Fight by Brandon Sanderson. They kind of sound like they're fantasy dystopian crossover. Steelheart is about a society that has been taken over by these anti-hero type power beings that are called epics. The premise is kind of what would happen if the people who had superpowers were the bad guys, and there is a alpha leader superhero guy named Steelheart, and it is believed that Steelheart is invincible and it's impossible for him to die and it's impossible for him to be wounded. And our main character David is trying to get into the society that is trying to research weaknesses within the epics, and he has a piece of vital information, and it is while Steelheart was killing our main character David's father, David saw Steelheart bleed. So yes, I cannot wait to read these. Brandon Sanderson is amazing. I still need to read something by him, and I cannot wait to dive into these. Plus, as an Illinoisan, Chicago sittings always make me very happy. Unfortunately, this did not come in enough time for me to get this signed, but I also have The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, which is the first novel in the Mistborn trilogy. And this is a high fantasy novel that I think there's kind of like a heist aspect to it. And I don't really know much about it, and I kind of want to keep it that way, but I've heard nothing but great things about this. I think what makes this book so unique is the magic system in it, and it is set up in the way that the people who do magic consume metal to do certain types of things. So that just sounds really cool, and everybody's been loving this. And I got the pretty UK edition. The next novel I have, I've had my eye on for a long time. It was on Book Outlet, and then by the time I wanted to order it, it was gone. We could have had it all. And it is The Winter's Curse by Marie Rutkoski. By Marie Rutkoski. I heard it pitched as a fantasy. Kind of sounds a little bit more dystopian to me. It's about a girl who lives in a society where you have two choices, where you can either go into the military or you can get married, and our main character, Kestrel, doesn't really know what she wants to do. One day she ends up walking by a slave auction, and she ends up purchasing a slave, and it's kind of her relationship with that slave and how that affects her choices, what to do with her future, I think. I'm bad at synopsis, guys. I'm really sorry. I believe the second book is coming out in March, so soon. I hope that I finish this ahead of time so I can get on the bandwagon because I've heard really great things. The next novel I have is 21 Proms by a lot of people. And when I say a lot of people, I mean a lot of people. Look at all the people. So there's a lot of famous authors on here such as John Green, Libba Bray, E. Lockhart, David Levithan, Holly Black. This looks really cute. I believe it's 21 short stories. Either that or it's just written by 21 different authors. It's a bunch of short stories about different proms, and as a senior in high school, who can't have enough prom? And the final book I have here is The Immortal Rules by Julie Kagawa. This is, I believe, a vampire novel, which I have not read in a long time. I really need to read The Cold Scroll and Cold Town by Holly Black, but this kind of sounds like it is along the same lines. Our main character's name is Allison, and she's lived on the outskirts of this walled-in city. Everybody's been running away from this epidemic that changes you into a vampire, and Allison dies and is reborn, so I think she is a vampire-like creature thingy, and it's kind of her journey of blending in with the humans and trying to find a cure for this. And I've heard really great things about this trilogy as well, and I got the pretty cover. The last book isn't out in paperback, but this is like a really cool paperback. Like, it has flaps, and this happened to be signed, but there's a sticker on it that I can't get off. But oh well, and it has the pretty deckled edges, and it's just a pretty book for a pretty birthday present. I hope the inside is pretty as well. Alright guys, that is it. That was my 18th birthday book haul. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. This is Millions of Millie Books. See ya. Bye. I'm gonna see if I can pick them all up. Can't touch it. Swag.